Are you looking for chair yoga poses that seniors can do to relieve neck pain or back pain? I'm Dr. Dave Candy, and in this video I'm going to show you 7 simple chair yoga poses that seniors or younger people can use to relieve neck or back pain. Now, if you find this video helpful, give it a like or thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you can get notified of our future videos. Now, I recently released a video about yoga poses that are good for lower back pain and upper back pain. But I had so many people contact me and say, well, what if I can't get down on the floor? That's too hard for me. I'm not sure I'd be able to do that. And so I decided to release a new video about chair yoga poses that are modifications really of that other video, but things that you can do from a chair. And they're good for seniors as well as younger people to relieve neck pain as well as back pain. So let's get started. First of all, before we go through the specific poses, I want to tell you just about the general effects of yoga and how it can help people to relieve pain and relieve stress. Yoga is a form of mindful movement where you're taking time, setting it aside, and getting away from all the other stresses in your life and just focusing on your breathing, focusing on your body and your muscles and moving, and it blocks out all that other stuff that is stressing you out and is throwing your life into imbalance or making you kind of more in a fight or flight where you're always kind of on the go, 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 go. Makes you be present in the moment and relax and kind of get more into a calming, resting, restorative state. So let's get into the specific poses. Now, first we'll go through the poses that are good for neck pain and then the poses that are good for back pain. But really, it's a whole body exercise. It's not specific. So just doing yoga of any sort is going to help you restore your whole body. But there's some that more specifically target your neck and there's some that more specifically target your back. So first of all, we just want to start out with a posture. And this is called mountain pose, but it's really a posture that we teach people in physical therapy. It's just your starting everyday good posture. And how you do mountain pose is you sit up nice and tall, you bring your chest up, and you rotate your hands out like that. And when you rotate your hands out like that, it kind of helps you pull your shoulders back. Now, you don't want to sit overly upright. That's not good for you either. So you just want to sit up with your shoulders above your hips, a slight arch in your back, and bringing your chest back. Again, you don't want to be hyper military arched like that. That's not good for your lower back. So just starting from kind of a slump pose, coming up a little bit, lifting your chest, and bringing your shoulder blades back. Or lifting your chest, shoulder blades back, and palms out like that. So that's mountain pose. Now, the next one we're going to do is a neck stretch, but there's some neck stretches that actually can kind of overstretch the neck muscles, or if you have some nerves that radiate pain down into your arm or that are referring some pain down into your shoulder, you actually really don't want to overstretch your neck. So it's a pretty easy stretch. You know, this is the way most people typically stretch their neck, but that can overstretch muscles and overstretch nerves. So really you want to make that a little bit more specific and try to target the muscles in the side of your neck, not just moving everything from a hinge point where your neck moves like that and you're just hinging around this area right there. So starting from using your nose as a fulcrum, just a slight tip of your head will help you stretch the muscles in the upper part of your neck. If you bring the axis of rotation down to your chin, it helps you get a little lower in your neck. If you bring the axis of rotation down lower, you get even lower in your neck. Now, if you do really have an elevated shoulder and your shoulders are up in your ears, it can also be helpful to do that. But for some people, that's not good. And in a different video, I show a stretch with a towel. It's one of my favorite neck stretches, actually, where you put a towel over your shoulder and stretch over that way. And I'll link to that video specifically because that's not really a yoga pose, but that's a neck stretch yoga pose. Now, some of these are modifications that I actually showed in that other video. For example, the cat-cow pose. And that's a pose where typically you're on the floor on all fours, you're on your hands and knees, and you're rounding your back like a cat, and then letting it sag like a cow. But you can really do that same thing in a chair, just sitting like that, or sitting like that. Or if you're looking at it from the front, kind of rounding out, letting your back kind of flatten back into the chair, and then sitting back upright, almost as if you were going back into mountain pose there. So that's the cat-cow pose. Now I showed another upper back stretch where you're doing the thread the needle on all fours going underneath like that. Obviously you're not kneeling in a chair, but a seated twist stretch where you just kind of grab onto the back of the chair and twist slightly. And twist slightly is also a pose that's good for improving your thoracic or upper back mobility. Now, you don't want to overdo that because your lower back actually is not made to twist. And I've got another video that will show you about why that is, but if you over twist your lower back, it can actually put stress on the discs in your back and predispose you to injury. So you want to make sure most of that twisting is coming from the upper back. You're not cranking back over the chair like that, like you're trying to pop your back, which it will actually pop if you go far enough in most cases, but that may not always be a good thing, particularly if you're prone or have had lower back pain in the past. So just doing the slight seated spinal twist to one side, taking some breaths, and to the other side is another good yoga pose for neck and upper back pain. Now we'll go down to more of the lower back pain poses, and one of those is the pigeon stretch. The typical way you do this in yoga is on the ground, but that's actually a very hard stretch for most people to do, particularly if you're not really a yogi and you don't practice yoga a lot. But a very easy way and practical way that you can do that stretch in everyday life or in a chair yoga class is to cross one leg over the other, and just kind of lean into it like that. It stretches your piriformis muscle. It's a modified pigeon or a chair pigeon, they would call it in chair yoga. So that's the pigeon stretch. The warrior pose, where you raise your arms up in the air, is good for neck and upper back pain, but it also kind of helps unload your lower back. Again, if you have stiff lats, you don't want to go really far back and arch your lower back. You want to keep your lower back in a neutral position and just go straight up, or if you have too stiff lats, maybe even up and slightly forward. But the goal of that is to unload your spine, unload your neck, unload your upper back, unload your lower back. So that's the warrior pose. And the final chair yoga pose that I want to go over today is a modification of the child's pose. That's your regular yoga where you're on all fours and you're kind of stretching back like a cat or a sphinx, or like a child kneeling on the floor. In chair yoga, you just do a seated forward bending pose. And the full version of that is going all the way down this way, bringing your head down and kind of touching your toes. But if you don't have that kind of mobility, if you're a little bit stiffer, you can just modify and do elbows on knees or go part of the way down. Go to your comfort level. But that's great for seniors particularly because as you age, you lose the ability to bend backwards and you actually start to lose space between your joints in your lower back and the areas where your nerves come out. And doing forward bending poses like that will help open up the spaces in your lower back where the nerves come out and help you feel more comfortable, particularly if you have back pain when you're standing or when you're walking. So I hope you found those exercises helpful. If you did, give it a like or thumbs up. And if you'd like to join one of our yoga classes, a traditional yoga class or a chair yoga class, I've got links below where you can do that live here in St. Louis. And thank you again for listening, and I hope you have a great day.